Hello. It feels good to have you here today. I believe you are interested in a successful Christian marriage. If that's you, you are in the right place. Let me address those who are dating or planning to date. If you intend to find a life partner for marriage, then you need to listen to the end. I will be revealing the greatest mistake you need to avoid for you to enjoy your marriage in the future. Prevention has always been better than cure. As much as God talks about perseverance in marriage, there is quite a lot that still happens behind the scenes. As Christians, once we have promised to be married to our partners for life, quitting is hardly ever an option. So, you find many couples putting up with issues that keep stealing their happiness. The moment we start dating, we become so familiar with one another. Pulling ourselves off the hook gets difficult as the relationship grows. So, what should we do today to lay a strong foundation for a marriage that will last forever? This is the question we are going to deal with all through this video. Listen carefully up to the end. The health of a relationship is dependent on the choices we make at the beginning. I agree every marriage has its challenges. However, you will agree with me that in some marriages, solving problems is much easier than in other marriages. Why is it so? How come some couples are always at loggerheads? Others even end up going against the vows they took at the altar by quitting their marriages. Okay, let me give you some facts. Dating is obviously the first step into a prospective marriage. It is more than just meeting a handsome guy or a beautiful lady along the corridors in college and starting a relationship. So, what should you do before you commit to a relationship with the intention of marriage? You need to ask yourself these questions. Am I prepared? What should I do before I get into this relationship? Is he the right partner? As you can see from these questions, you need to start with yourself. Once you have dealt with yourself, it will be easier to identify the right partner. So, what should you do with yourself? Before you grab the right man, you must be the right woman, and vice versa. Be warned of people who have led a reckless life, but end up dressing themselves in hypocrisy purposely to find partners in church. As much as Paul said we probably meet such people to change them, that was not the original purpose of God. Paul was addressing those who unknowingly got caught up in the mess. Listen to what Paul says. 1 Corinthians 7 verses 12 to 14, to the others I say, I myself, not the Lord, if a Christian man has a wife who is an unbeliever and she agrees to go on living with him, he must not divorce her. And if a Christian woman is married to a man who is an unbeliever and he agrees to go on living with her, she must not divorce him. For the unbelieving husband is made acceptable to God by being united to his wife, and the unbelieving wife is made acceptable to God by being united to her Christian husband. If this were not so, their children would be like pagan children, but as it is, they are acceptable to God. As you can see, Paul was referring to husbands and wives. He was not referring to people who are still dating. Please take note of that. We will talk about this at length in its own video. So, if you are single and looking for the right partner, continue listening. This video alone can mend your perspective of relationships and save you a ton of problems in the future. It is more like using a mosquito net to prevent malaria. Which one is cheaper? Is it the mosquito net or the treatment of malaria? What about the whole package that the treatment comes with? It could lead to an admission in hospital. The whole family gets disoriented when they have a patient in hospital. I hope you get the concept. Likewise, getting married to a wrong partner will put you in a fix. In this video, we are working on the prevention is better than cure part of you. God's original plan was that his people get married to his people. What I mean is this. All human beings are God's children. Among us, some wear the extra hat of being God's people. The people of God try their level best to keep to the Lord's expectations of them. This takes us back to what I said earlier. As you begin to date, have you prepared yourself? Preparation entails dealing with all your dirty past, if any. The past cannot erase itself. You have to do it. If you don't, it sticks around and keeps interfering with the present. Let us take the example of sickness. If you don't complete your dose of medication, it will resurface in a bigger way. You will bear me witness that past relationships have messed up marriages. I hope you get it up to that point. Before you commit yourself to a marriage, make sure you have thoroughly dealt with your past. As a Christian, I bet you know what to do. You can also subscribe to our channel to keep yourself up to date with our Christian life teachings. Next, this is what you are going to do. Remember when God told the Israelites not to marry other nations? Who are the Israelites today, and who are the other nations? The Israelites are those who have chosen to live their lives according to the will of God. Other nations do not necessarily have to be non-Christians. Some of them are Christians who have opted to live contrary to the rules and regulations of the Lord. Such are the ones I spoke about earlier. They come to church specifically to find a good spouse, whereas they are not good themselves. The whole of Deuteronomy 7 verses 1 to 6 will help you understand what the Lord told his people. But there is no harm in quoting part of it. Deuteronomy 7 verses 3 to 4 says, "Do not marry any of them, and do not let your children marry any of them, because then they would lead your children away from the Lord to worship other gods. If that happens, the Lord will be angry with you and destroy you at once." In other words, God is saying if you marry the wrong person, you are the one who should convert him to true Christianity. Remember what Paul suggested as I earlier stated in this video. If your spouse pulls you away from true Christianity, then trouble will follow. So, which one is better? Why not date the right person to avoid problems in the future? Remember, to identify the right person, you need to approach the person in a state of purity. I mean, you should have dealt with your unpleasant past. God does not keep a record of our sins. If you present your cases to the Lord with reverence, he will surely forgive your past and walk you into the next phase of your life. God will then open your spiritual eyes and gift you with discernment. He will gift you with wisdom to help you do a background check before engaging in a relationship. You will then be able to weigh the pros and cons of your prospective partner and make a wise decision. It is better to arrest a problem before it happens than struggle to deal with the consequences of wrong decisions. This marks the end of our teaching today. Do have a look at the video pop-up for another great teaching. Also remember to subscribe if you haven't. We have lots of informative clips coming up every week. If you found this helpful, please let us know in the comments and share with your friends. Good luck as you seek a successful marriage.